How do paranormal people? Welcome back to the Ghost Encounter the Third Kind podcast show. And we've had a 2-week break, but we're all here now. I do apologise for the 2-week break. I had to go on holiday, which I didn't really want to do. Marie chose to have an operation.
I didn't choose, did I?
Yes. And anyway, we can start recording the podcast on a Wednesday now. So if you listen to the one we did on a Tuesday, it's now Wednesday. Anyway, we've got the full crew in tonight. Myself, Mr. Nicholas Clark, Nick Taft, Faye and Marie. And what is tonight about, folks?
Well, we've had a few questions been building up over the week, so I thought we'd just do a quick Q&A this evening. We've had some questions sent via our Facebook page, via messages, get that word out, and some via email, so I've got a few of them to answer, put to us all tonight. Okay?
Yes, let's go for it.
Okay, so the first one we've got is from Toby Stevens.
Oh, I like that name.
Toby?
Yeah.
I used to have a dog called Toby.
I like Toby.
And
Spaniel.
his question is, not that we're comparing you to a spaniel,
No,
Toby.
sorry.
Apologies for
that.
that.
I did have a spaniel called Toby.
So he asks, how can you make sure you don't fall for fakes? And he states that he was can't get my words out tonight, my apologies. He was once shown a photo by someone that he trusted, so he took it at face value, thought it was genuine, and then got ridiculed for believing it afterwards when he was told it was a fake. So he's asking, how can you make sure you don't fall for purpose fakes, I think he's asking.
Okay.
So a few things that we can think of, Nick. What do you think?
Well, the only way you can do that is get up to date in what apps people use. I've been in the same situation. Someone's tried to give me photographs which are obviously done on a program called Ghost App. And they were people who were saying exactly what he just said. A good friend, and they won't lie, and because people just ridicule it. So
yeah,
they are. It's not maybe not done on purpose, but it's just done like a bit of a joke. And having your friend over, like you would have a joke with your friend. But then they go away and they post it to a paranormal group or whatever, and then it gets sent back, because not everyone's got the time or the energy to look at all these ghost apps and stuff where you can put a ghost in a picture just by the click of a button. But they're all on there. You can see all the standard ghosts on their maps, and that was quite a thing a couple of years ago. It's not, I suppose they are still there now, but you don't really see much of that ghost app anymore.
I think it's pretty difficult, isn't it, to know if you're just showing a photo, if you're just shown a photograph, unless it's obviously fake and a bad example of it. And if you're not very technically minded and you haven't got all these apps like, the stuff that you can check, Nick, and stuff, then I don't suppose there is a surefire way, is there, of knowing?
What you need off the person is the original photograph.
Yeah, which you don't normally get because it's normally off of Facebook, and the Facebook condense photographs and they change so you haven't got the original information which you can get off of an original photograph.
I wouldn't believe any photograph of something paranormal unless it's the original photograph, because on the original photograph you can right click on it or whatever on your program and it tells you if it's been messed with.
But even there can be fakes done that are not done via that kind of thing. I mean, there's things that you can actually things that can actually set up and then photograph, so the photograph itself is genuine and it's not been messed with.
Yeah,
a
lot of them photographs are just long exposure. If if you haven't actually physically put the ghost or whatever in on an app, a lot of them are long exposures of a light. So if you was in a dark room and there was a light, then and if you move the camera, on the picture it did actually look like the light was moving about. Yeah, when it's just long exposure. But if you got the original, you can see the exposure time, what camera it was taken on. A good one is if the flash was on, because you've seen photographs of orbs, which to me most of them are just dust. I wouldn't say 100% of them, but you know,
I think we've got a question about those a bit later on.
Okay.
But if it's just a case of, you know, somebody's taken a photograph and they claim that there's a person in the photograph that they didn't know. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I've seen something like that.
It's, you know, and you, let's say I took a photograph and Faye was round the corner and she looked like a shadow, then I can take a photograph and show it to somebody and go, look what I caught. I know it's Faye.
Yeah.
They don't know it's Faye. That there are occasions where you just can't say whether it's fake or not, can you? It's a case of, I think a lot of the times what we do is we have to be there kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I find it hard to believe something unless I actually witness it myself, which is, it's wrong, but that's just the sort of world you live in now with the paranormal. There's that many people faking stuff, so you tend to believe less as you go along, you know.
yeah.
Unfortunately.
So I'm sorry you got ridiculed, Toby, but there's a lot of idiots out there,
Yeah.
isn't there?
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were about me with my dog.
So moving on, the next question is from Reese. I don't know his surname, sorry. And he just asks if we can do some live stuff or record and air some of our experiments or an investigation. He's asking. What do we think about that? Is that a possibility?
Yeah, we did one a couple of weeks ago with you. We could put that out in 10 minutes, but that was an interesting little bit of a
The
clip.
Estes, yeah.
Yeah, it was only 10 minutes, but we've got that recorded. What we can do more, can't we?
Yeah, that's the way we want to go anyway, isn't it? You know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great.
Answer that is yes.
Yeah. And if there's any other experiments that the listeners want us to do, other than the SD, we're up for anything, aren't we, really?
Yeah.
Mainly. Apart from conjuring up demons, but other than that, I think.
You don't tend to come up. It's pointless. So.
Yeah.
Right, okay, so the next question is from Jaden. How do we feel about orbs? Jaden thinks they're just dust particles and doesn't understand the hype. Doesn't understand, you know, why people make a big deal out of orbs. So what do you think, Faye,
I
about
got a cracking
orbs?
one on your
You did
website.
indeed. I'm not a great
That
lover.
was definitely not dust.
No, I'm not a great lover of orbs, and I would say 98% of them are just dust, in my opinion. But I do think you can catch light anomalies, which people categorise as orbs, and you have caught a great one, Faye, haven't you?
Yeah, pink, bright pink as
Yeah,
well.
on camera. Yeah, that was very good.
And it came on demand.
It did,
you
strangely, came, upon asking.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Tell me the story then. What happened there?
There wasn't a story really, was there? We were testing your equipment out, weren't we?
We were at a local village hall,
Yeah.
which has got a history and it's quite old. It used to be the old school headmaster's
house, wasn't it?
Many
School.
many years ago, and we went in there, didn't we? One
You had
night
some
to,
new equipment.
to just test some equipment out. And Faye's always been really good at photographing or filming on investigations. So you were on filming
Because
duty.
I was crap at everything else.
You weren't. And we were just in the main hall and we were asking, weren't we, for communication?
I noticed you were asking, you were shouting out, and I noticed in the peripheral, as you do, and I saw this light and I thought, oh, you got the laser grid on.
Yeah,
That's what
I'd
it was.
got a laser grid on, which was green.
And I thought it was, you know, as you do, I thought it was something in the peripheral. I thought it was a laser light, and as I watched it, I saw it come round, and it sort of came around and flashed. I've got it. The first time it came around, it flashed in front of the camera, and I called you over and I said, "Look at this," and I asked it to come around again, and it did, and it came directly towards us, and then it hovered like that. And then went,
it came right. You saw it move down one way, and then it came directly towards the face, smack bang in front of the camera, and then kind of shot off.
And then shot off
to one side.
But it was pink,
bright
like
pink,
bright pink,
yeah.
pinky pink. Yeah, it was lovely. It wasn't dust.
Was it nice?
It was nice.
Sounds good. I'd like to see that
nice.
footage.
Yeah,
it's on Marie's
I have that.
haunted
Oh, yeah.
evidence. Yeah.
How come we haven't seen
I was
it?
going to say this. You had a right go at us because we did a world's breaking Asti box.
How long ago did you do that, Nick? Was it about 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Well, we're
This
talking
was about 4 years ago.
About 8 years ago when we did this.
So,
you've had 8
so you've
years.
had it longer than we did. Then, haven't you?
8 years,
you've
Dallas.
been hiding it longer than we have.
I'll show you that after the show.
Right, okay.
So, what's your opinion, Nick, on orbs?
Orbs. I hate orbs.
Every single one of them.
No, not all, because as I've told you in the past, that's how I used to do readings when I used to sit in circles and stuff from orbs. What appeared in the room, but they weren't in the room; they were actually in my eyes.
Yeah.
So I do believe in orbs, but most of them are just dust. I have got a video of explaining how they actually work, the dust. You can see on the video that there's dust in front of the camera. What I've done is I've split a video screen. One phone is recording the room with the orbs, and the other phone is recording the orbs. And so when you've got a phone 90-degree angle to the other one, so you can actually see all the dust reflecting the lights right in front of the so you can see both videos running side by side. One, you can see the flickers of dust, and the others you see the big orbs.
Yeah.
Do you not think there's a definite difference though when you actually see an orb that you think is an orb compared to a speckle of dust?
Yeah, if you see
There's
one.
a massive difference.
But most people show me photographs, and I say you've got your flash on and you're in a dusty room. And anybody who's been to like a family party, when they put the lights on, in the room, you can see all the dust floating in front of them.
Well, you've only got to have the sun streaming through your window, haven't you? In that sun stream, and you can see. You think there's no dust, nothing really is moving about, and you can see.
Yeah, exactly.
Insects as well as another big one.
There's what? Sorry.
Insects.
Yeah, I think with orbs, the video is much better than a still.
Yeah. But
So-
even then, when people have because people used to send me stuff saying, "Can you have a look at this?" and I used to examine all the data which is inside the photograph, and they say, "Oh, the flash wasn't on." But as soon as you open it up, it says the flash was on. So
Right.
people just get mistaken about what they're taking.
Would you class that as an orb that was at your gate, Marie, that your camera got on? Because that was like
That was
with
strange.
a face in it.
Yeah.
And the actual camera thought somebody was stood at your gate.
Yeah, I know sometimes like these Nest cams, the security cameras and stuff. I mean, I know about pareidolia and all that, but I don't know if cameras can pick up pareidolia. But I've had a couple of occasions where I've had notifications saying that there's a person at the gateway, and when I've looked at it, there's just been what looks like a
Cloud or
like a cloud, and it moves down the driveway, and then it moves up, and then it moves down. Don't get me wrong, I've had spiders on the camera that look like orbs, and they've been spiders, but you can clearly see a massive difference between the two. It was something strange. It went up to the gate.
But the only thing you've got to think about with the cameras, like the Ring doorbells and all the other, they're actually designed to recognise faces. So yeah, they are designed to recognise faces, because you can, on my camera, where I work, you can actually train the camera and put a name to a face, and it'll. And
Yeah, well,
so you
Marie's
Well-
camera thought it was her husband.
Well, this is another strange
At 2
thing.
o'clock in the morning.
Because on the Nest cams, when you've got the same person coming all the time, like you say, Nick, you can put a name to it. So then you start getting notifications saying Nick's at your gate rather than there's a person. And then they put all of the faces together. And they're really quite clever, these cameras are, aren't they? They start recognising who's at your gate. And I've had notifications at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning saying Phil's at the gate, who's my husband, that's when he's been working away. And I've been a bit startled by this, and I've looked quickly, and it's just been some really weird, strange thing on the camera, which is really quite bizarre.
Well, the last one you had, literally, when you looked at it, it looked like a soldier face, didn't it?
I've had like a gypsy with big
Why are you
earrings.
laughing?
Ever so strange.
I was just thinking that he might not actually be away. He might just want a break. He might be living in the bush outside.
Yeah, because it notified Phil as well, didn't it?
Yeah, well, obviously, yeah, we both get the same notification. So cameras can pick up weird things, and I can honestly say I've even on the Nest Cam seen somebody walk past, and he's been completely transparent. But I know it's a real person because I've seen him with my own eyes. But the camera makes him look transparent, so I know the cameras can do weird things. But I think you have to treat them on a case by case basis. I don't think you can just bunch it all under one umbrella. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So no, I'm not a great lover of orbs, but as we know, there are exceptions.
But when you see that, what you just said about you can see through somebody, perhaps it's I don't know if you've had it when you years ago when you've had like a video and you've paused it on the screen and then you move your video on and the actual image is still on the screen from like a box or something.
Yeah.
Like then I would say it's like a long exposure, and the camera's always pointing at one piece of scenery all the time. Maybe that's burnt on the sensor.
But
and when the
it's
person
easy.
walks
But it's
past-
easy, Nick. If I didn't know that was a real person, I hadn't seen
Yeah,
him with my own
exactly.
eyes, and then you see that footage,
Yeah.
and you think a camera can't make somebody transparent. That, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's easy for somebody to think that was something paranormal. So new and digital cameras can make things.
and with a lot of the time, people are so desperate to have a ghost or a spirit of a loved one, and they do believe in that. And it's hard to tell somebody when they say, "No, I think it's me, Nan, or my husband, or whoever," because they gain some comfort from that.
Yeah.
And to tell them that you just think it's a load of rubbish,
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
well, not a load of rubbish, but you know what I mean. It's you tell them that you've got an explanation for it. They don't want to hear it half the time.
No. How do you feel about them, Nick?
Yeah, I don't like them. I'm not saying the odd ones or something different, but I think most of them are either dust or insects. I've never been one much for them.
No.
You know,
I don't think any of us are lovers of orbs, but we do all think that there can be exceptions, don't
Yeah, but the only problem I've got with them is I've got a theory. It's not really my theory, but I heard it and it stuck with me, and I believe it. And I don't even know who it was or where it was, where I got it from. But what they say is, if you have an electromagnetic field, has an effect on like atoms and particles and all that lot, it's supposed to put the electron in a different orbit. If that, I know it's getting a bit technical, but
Sorry.
the magnetic field puts the electron in a bigger orbit, and then when the magnetic field goes and the electron jumps back to where it's supposed to be, that creates a photon, which is a particle of light. So that would be the orb. If that makes sense. So my thinking is the light you see isn't a spirit, it's the after effects of a spirit being present.
Right, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. But a lot of the time, orbs are only caught on camera, aren't they?
Yeah.
But sometimes when we investigate, we can see light anomalies with our own eyes, can't we?
Them are good.
Yeah.
I think them are different.
So if you see a light anomaly and then you take a photograph and you catch what people would class as an orb, would that make it any different because you first saw it through with your own eye?
Probably, but it wouldn't make any difference to me if someone was showing it to me.
No.
You've got to be there, haven't you? You've
Yes.
got to experience that. Otherwise, it's just another old picture to me, and I just think they're a load of rubbish.
Okay. So we'll move on then. So the next one is from someone named Cece. And Cece wants to know, why do we only go to buildings with reported activity? Have we and can we go anywhere to communicate and draw out spirit? That's a question.
Good question.
Good question.
Nick, we'll come to you first on that one.
If you want to communicate with a spirit, you can do that absolutely anywhere, in my opinion. A haunted building is usually a residual energy, so you're probably going there to try and catch some kind of footage of a residual haunting, as in noises that are there, like the stone tape theory, that sort of thing. But I believe you can communicate with spirits anywhere. If you put the right method into practice and use the right things, you can communicate anywhere with something. It doesn't have to be an haunted place. No, I don't believe it does.
Nick?
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. I don't believe you can be anywhere. I think you probably get more by not being in haunted places. We've had some great communication, haven't we, with maybe not supposedly haunted places. We've done it everywhere, haven't we? So we've had some good information we've had through just sitting in people's living rooms and wherever. So yeah.
What do you think, Faye? Would you just go anywhere? Do you know what I mean? If you wanted to experience some sort of activity.
Yeah, most of the experiences I've had or what I've seen have not been in reported haunted places, just in somebody's house or something like that. So not necessarily.
No.
And I think a lot of the hauntedness, it's the same as at night. People seem to think you go ghost hunting at night time. You don't have to be there at night time.
No.
A lot of it can happen around you in the daytime.
Yeah.
So,
I just don't think people are as aware in the daytime.
No.
Maybe. I think
mindset when you go to
and when it's dark and it's quiet, I think all your senses are on high alert, aren't they? So you notice things better than when there's hustle and bustle going on around you and stuff. So you don't have to. I think people go to haunted locations because maybe they might think that they've got more of a chance because there's other people have experienced there already, so you think you're more likely to. But no, I think you can communicate and draw out spirit anywhere if, like Nick says, you use the right tools and the right methods. I think, yeah.
I've been doing this now for like 2 decades, and when I've gone on a ghost hunt, I've never actually seen what you would class as a ghost.
I haven't.
The
It's when you
apparitions,
least expect it,
the apparitions I've seen are just through normal day-to-day life.
Yeah.
I've never gone looking for one and then found one. If you know,
Yeah.
we've gone on investigations and communicated with spirits, but I've never actually seen one. Mm-hmm. That's happened to me when I've been driving in the car or walking in the woods, or
Yeah.
I think they
that
prefer
sort
to
of
get
thing.
your
Yeah,
attention than
definitely,
you
yeah.
trying to get
Yeah.
their attention.
Yeah.
Don't they?
Well, not just that. I think intention. So, say the likes of Tutbury Castle. It's quite well known for Mary Queen of Scots at Tutbury Castle. So, if we go to Tutbury Castle, are we putting the intention, linking it with Mary Queen of Scots? So, are we manifesting that communication, or is that entity just already there? I think maybe we could be.
Is that yours, Nick?
sorry,
I just think we could be manifesting these
Yeah.
entities or the information. I think it's just
Yeah.
information.
I think that's why sometimes when people go, sometimes like these mediums, sometimes and investigators, when they go to somewhere, don't want to know anything about the place
Yeah.
when they first go in, because that intention and putting that seed in somebody's head.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
if you go in somewhere where you know, well, in this place, everybody always, you know, experiences getting your hair tugged. You've got more of a chance of getting your hair tugged than if you didn't know that. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So anywhere, yeah, it doesn't have to be reported activity or a known haunted building.
I'd like to do a field,
Try
like a
anywhere.
battlefield.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't really see many people doing that.
No.
You know, just
I love outside investigations, but unfortunately the noise pollution. Unless you're in the middle of absolute nowhere, it's hard to. There's nothing better than doing a ghost hunt or an investigation in the woods. It's ace.
You've got all the animals
This
as
is
well,
it,
though,
yeah.
haven't you?
You've got all that.
Okay. So, just a couple more to get through before we're done this evening. We've got a question here from Fred J. What would stop you from looking and searching? And if you found evidence, would you share it and risk the ridicule? So that's a bit of a double question there from Fred. So what would stop you from looking and searching? Let's answer that one first. Anything? Could anything happen or any experience that would
if I got an
say...
attachment or something like that.
So if you felt like something was stuck to
Yeah.
you from somewhere, yeah, that would stop
and
you.
I couldn't get rid. That'd be it for me.
Okay. Nick?
Game over.
Game
No,
over.
I think for me personally, I think that I've been on and off for 20 years, maybe a little bit longer, and I've been kind of got to a position where I think I've got all the answers I need. It's just pointless carrying on trying to find more answers. Kind of like drop off, and then something pops up as you get back into it. I don't know if you guys are the same, but I've been on and off for 20 years.
Could
so-
anything happen? Could anything happen to you while searching, investigating, whatever, that would make you say, that's it, no more?
Probably an heart attack or something like that.
I think if I got physically hurt, if something
Yeah.
scratched me or pushed me or physically hurt, then
Yeah.
then no, I'd have
I
to.
don't know. See, I
I'd
can't.
go
the other way.
I don't really know if they.
No, I couldn't
I've
do
never
that.
had anything like that.
No,
Even when people tell me they've got a scratch and stuff, and I'm always a bit really sceptical. Although I believe in it, I'm sceptical about.
Yeah, but if it
Or
did
anybody.
happen, would it make you stop? Would you think?
If it
"Oh,
happened
enough's
to
enough"?
you, if it happened to you, Nick,
Yeah.
if something scratched you
Or
and you
pushed you
and you
physically
knew it
or-
wasn't you or anybody else around, or you were in the room on your own, would that stop you?
No, I don't
No?
think it would. No.
Oh, I'd be gone like a shot.
What about you, Nick? Anything? What could happen that would stop you? Anything at all?
nothing.
Nothing would stop you.
No, nothing. I did stop because I fell out of love with it. I just thought I got that sceptical,
Disillusioned.
and I just thought it was just all a load of rubbish. And then one day, walking the dog through Cottage Woods, and there was a miner walking past me, and he vanished. And that's when I started getting back into it.
Yeah.
About 9 years ago.
He probably went down his hole if he'd
Probably
found it.
yeah. And that's when I started doing it again, because I'm thinking, I'm not seeing things there. And then within about 6 months, I saw about 3 or 4 apparitions. So I'm thinking, right, it's time you started getting back into it now.
I did stop at one point for the reason that you would stop, and that was I believed that I don't know about attachment is the right word, but I believed that I'd taken something from somewhere into my own home, or I'd opened a door which allowed something to come into my own. Something happened things changed at home once I'd been to a certain location, and I didn't like that, because home's like your little sanctuary, isn't it? And I'm quite happy to go into all these haunted buildings and all these dark rooms and ask for communication, but when I get home, it's home, you know. And that experience stopped me for a couple of years from doing any more investigations, because it wasn't a pleasant experience, and when it's at home, it's not great. So that did stop me, but once you've got the bug, haven't you? And you start missing it, and something sparks your interest, and you think, okay, that's over now, so let's try again. And then you get into it again, it all starts again.
But obviously, the home situation, taking something home, you wouldn't want to do that. But if you look at it like, when you get into investigating, you've got to be aware that these things could happen. So, there's a couple of things, like we've had mediums on ghost hunts who were saying, "Oh, I can see this bloke, this man in," giving all these messages.
Yeah, sorry, Nick, I heard a voice then. Sorry.
And then one minute they're going around giving messages, and next minute they're running out screaming, saying they've just seen a ghost or an apparition, and they're off.
Yeah.
Well, what have you been seeing before then? If this is and I'm just like,
see it on the telly regularly.
Yeah.
They're giving all these messages saying we've got such and such with us, such and such with us, and then when something moves or something happens, they shit
jump a
themselves
mile.
out, they
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
You know, and like being an investigator, you got to expect. You haven't got to expect being scratched and everything, but you've got to.
That's the risk you take.
You realise it's there. It's like being a prison officer. When you're in the prison, things can happen to you, but obviously you don't expect it at home. Like you don't expect the prisoners to follow you home, but same thing.
Yeah.
When you go out, you've got to expect these things.
Yeah, I'm a bit older and wiser these days, and I think there's methods you can learn to protect yourself and you know, and cleanse and stuff like that, and set your intentions and all sorts. So yeah, lots learnt. So
I'm just older.
without the wiser bit. So then, yeah, and then the second half of Fred's question was, if you found evidence, would you share it and risk the ridicule? Well, I think we've found evidence and we've shared it. So I'm not sure.
You haven't had no ridicule, have you?
No.
Not to your face, maybe behind you, but it doesn't bother me.
I mean, if we're talking that you caught something absolutely amazing and it was on the TV and it was in the newspapers and stuff like that, I'm no doubt you'd get a bit of ridicule then. But I mean, our evidence and stuff that we find just gets shared, you know, in the paranormal field, and I don't think I've ever been ridiculed over something that I've shared or shown.
No.
You're going to get ridiculed by somebody who just doesn't believe, no matter what evidence you've put out there.
Absolutely.
Just because you believe in the ghost, that's enough for some people to ridicule you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, last question then is from Stephen Mason. And Stephen asks, I'm not sure what he's talking about here, to be honest. It's not very clear. What made you start believing in the total opposite of what we're taught in school and the scientists and the experts tell us? Now, that could be anything from ghosts and spirits, because, you know, scientists say that they don't exist, or stuff that we've talked about with some of the conspiracy stuff, or it could even be your flat earth stuff, Nick, that I really didn't want to bring up, but I have done now.
I didn't say
sorry.
that this week. I didn't say the word.
I'm sorry.
Me.
So I'm not sure what subject he's asking, but what made you start believing in the total opposite
to be
of
honest,
what we were
Marie,
taught in school?
School have never said. I've never heard school say there's no such thing as ghosts or anything like that. Have you?
No. Scientists and experts, maybe.
What do you class as an expert in what, though?
Well, I don't really know what Stefan's talking about.
I always say
so.
somebody that doesn't believe is not seen yet or not felt yet, then, have they?
Yeah, I think...
Because if they'd had an experience, then they'd believe,
they would believe.
So it's just somebody that hasn't experienced something yet.
I think in the paranormal field, nothing's been proven scientifically, has it? This is the point. Nothing's been proven. So
Sorry.
I don't know, but I guess your flat Earth stuff. Then we're taught in school that Earth isn't flat, so maybe.
Yeah.
So what made you start believing that it wasn't, Nick? Can you put your finger on one thing that first started you?
And you can't say TikTok.
No, there's not one. There isn't just one thing
No?
with me, because if I just say one thing, someone will say, "Well, what about this?"
Yeah.
It's I've actually.
It's an accumulation
Yeah.
of
And
information.
But,
actually, I
but
can't
it
tell
was
you.
one thing that made you start going down that rabbit hole. Sure, there was one thing that piqued your interest to make you start looking into it further.
I don't know what that would be.
No,
No. No, I don't know. I don't know what that could be. Maybe the NASA stuff. Maybe, I don't know. You know, the strings. You obviously must have seen the videos of the astronauts on strings.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just one. And again, I know you said not TikTok, but that's where most of the videos.
Yeah, it's because they
do
can't take them
orig-
down at the minute on TikTok, can
you
they?
know, that's where they
so
do
it was
come
maybe a
from.
video that you saw that made you then look at it a bit.
Go into another video. Then I've seen
Yeah.
thousands and thousands of videos. It's not just one thing. If someone, which you do, ask me why I believe it's flat, I haven't got a reason to tell you why.
Not an easy answer.
Just all these little things are built up in my brain to come to the conclusion that it's flat. I've got no evidence. But,
No. What about you, Faye? Do you believe in anything that's the opposite of what we're taught? Do you think, apart from the paranormal? Excuse me, apart from the
Can't think
paranormal
of
stuff.
anything.
No, Nick.
Yeah, quite a bit actually, but it's like you were taught when every kid, every Christian was taught about God and Jesus and this, that, and the other, the Bible, and no, I don't believe any of that now. So
You
I
don't believe
suppose-
none of it.
I believe there's a creator.
Mm.
I don't believe Son of God walked around and performing miracles. If he did, I'd like to think he was an alien.
I was
I don't
just about to say
believe.
that.
I don't believe the same as the church believes. If you know what I mean.
But I don't think the church believe what they actually say.
No,
think
I don't
they
as
do.
well. Yeah, looking into it now, the more you delve into these things, the wider it gets, and it's weird now. It's looking back now, nothing is the same as what you were taught 30 years ago at school.
No.
Is it? Nothing.
No.
Nothing's the same now. You know, there's that many options now that it could be this or it could be that.
But do you think that goes back to this Mandela effect kind of thing?
Could be, yeah. It's
'Cause,
all
you know,
You
nonsense.
have
Everything's
access
nonsense.
to more information though
Now
now
you
as
can
well,
reach
don't you?
anything, can't you? Give you a subject and you delve into something. You can
Yeah,
find it,
I guess back in the day, what you were taught at school, that was your only place of
final.
learning,
It's final.
wasn't it?
Unless
Now
you-
we can come home and learn ourselves
Yeah.
now, can't
Well,
we?
I was taught at school that your heart was on the left side of your body, which it
Right.
isn't.
No.
It's in the middle, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, not quite in the middle,
No, but more middle than the left.
then yeah.
So,
Well, we went Church of England school though, Marie, didn't we? So
Yeah.
you got taught one specific way, really, didn't you?
Yeah,
Actually,
exactly.
mine wasn't that religious at all. I just went to normal.
Did you turn up,
school.
Nick?
Sorry? Well,
Did you turn up?
Well, you know. I had my moments. But we did RE and everything, obviously. You had to do
Yeah.
RE. That's one of the subjects you had to do. Which, I'll be honest with you, when I was at school, I enjoyed that. I did enjoy that. And I'll still watch all the films now. If Jesus of Nazareth comes on,
yeah.
or Ben here and that
Yeah.
sort of thing. I'll still watch them now. But I don't believe in that kind of
And then when we got to high
creative-
school and you touched on Buddhism and Hinduism, and I was
Yeah.
more interested in that.
Yeah,
I thought,
yeah.
why can't we do more on
Yeah, and they
Yeah.
just didn't do it
that?
then,
But they
did
didn't do it then.
No.
I love
do a bit more
Hinduism.
now, don't they?
Hinduism,
I'd
I
love
do.
I'd love to send my kids to an Hindu school. Meditate every morning.
Yeah.
Decent food. But,
Yeah, that's a big part of my life now. Yeah, I love it. But so my answer to your question is,
So,
What was
so,
the question?
So,
Nothing is the same now as it was when you were at school.
No,
I don't think.
No.
Anyway.
I think it's just a case, Stefan, as that, like I say, school at one point was the only place that you could learn, so you had no real choice but to take their word for what you were being taught. But these days, there's so much information out there, you can do your own
But it is
now,
hard to
can't you?
change.
So
If it's been imprinted in you,
Yeah.
like, I know we keep getting on about it and we take the piss or whatever about the flat earth. It's harder for Nick to do what he's doing now than for me to say, no, it's on a globe. Because that's
course.
imprinted, so he's changing his old beliefs, what
of
he
course,
was grown
that's
up with.
yeah. That's the same for anybody in the minority of believing anything, isn't
Yeah.
it? Because you're not the norm, is
Yeah,
it? It's not
no.
the norm to believe
You
that.
can't
So
be like, well, don't get me wrong, I've looked at some stuff and I'm thinking, yeah, they're right about this, but I still can't bring myself to say,
yeah,
yeah, it's flat.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the evidence is out there and it's
Yeah.
right what they're saying. Ooh, way up there.
Hey
Oh,
up
Oh, that's a
now.
good catch, that
That's
was,
the
yeah.
sweetest swimming.
Yeah, so,
Yeah, so that's great then. So that's all the questions that we've got
Okay,
for
that's
this
cool.
evening anyway. So keep them coming in and we'll do another one maybe in another few weeks' time.
yeah, give it a few weeks.
Yeah.
But interesting. Thanks very much for your questions.
Yeah, thank you.
Keep them coming.
Yeah.
And we'll speak again next
Yeah.
week.
Email is contact at
Yeah.
ghostencounters.org, or
Very good.
just fire them over on the Facebook page or on any social media platforms.
Yeah.
I'll answer 'em.
Brilliant.
Doesn't matter what they are, anything.
Well, look, we're going to have,
Good to
shortly we're going to have 3 pages now, aren't we?
Yes.
I know it's going to get
Oh, yeah.
confusing.
Yeah.
There's going to be this page, what we've just mentioned, the Ghost Encounters at the Third Guide page. There's the Ravens Nook Paranormal page. And now we're adding, which has already been running for years anyway, is the Haunted Evidence page, Marie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because why are we adding that, Marie?
Yeah, tell us.
Because we're going to be starting some paranormal investigations, and we're going to be booking some venues and taking some guests. And yeah, the Haunted Evidence always has been running for quite a while, but it has been dormant for a few years since COVID and things. It's never really kicked back in. But we're having a lot of people asking us.
And
if-
you've got a booking, haven't you? But we'll have to post that on the page.
Yes.
We've got 2, haven't we?
We've got 2 bookings.
One's a real exciting
Oh,
one.
yeah.
Yes, so we'll get to that when we've got all the finer details sorted. We'll let people know about that. But yeah, so we've got a Facebook page, we've got a Instagram page. So yeah, take a look at the Haunted Evidence, and we'll be posting all our events on there shortly. And feel free to have a little perusal and send any messages on that page too.
What we will have to start doing at the when we post these is trying to put the links to all 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, the link are already there for this page anyway, won't it?
Yeah.
But for the other 2 pages, put the links in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can do that.
Great.
Okay,
Yep.
That's it then.
right then.
So thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Cheery
Thanks very
bye.
much. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.